someone just fucking ran the red light and went all the way through it. But anyways, I'm sorry that I have been missing in action in my A because I feel like now that I don't work, I am very, very busy. I wanted to do like this full-on video for you guys, but I never like have time for whatever reason. I don't understand why. But I wanted to continue on to my video of what happened after my amputation. Can you lower that? That's my daughter. So after the hospital, of being in the hospital in Mexico for 2 weeks, I was hospitalized for 2 weeks again. Sorry, I'm a little. I was hospitalized for 2 weeks in Tepic, Nayarit. Tepic, Nayarit. My accident all happened in this little ranchito called El Llano in Nayarit. That's where my baby daddy's from. My baby daddy. Still married to a man. We were there for 2 weeks. Unfortunately, my hand was completely like split open. I hope that I can share the picture eventually. If not, I'll have to like blur it out. But my hand was completely split open. They had to remove a vein from my right foot to place it on my right hand to see if there was movement. Unfortunately, there was no movement to it. I had gangrene. And I was there just at the hospital, just hoping that my fingers would get some kind of reaction. No, there was not. 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, I flew into La Jolla, San Diego, in California, by San Diego. And the doctor that tended me, the specialist, said unfortunately they were not able to save my 3 fingers because I had literally gangrene. Just a second. So this is the results of my hand. I only have 2 fingers on my right hand. It's literally like part of my palm is off as well. And like I've said before, I am very embarrassed to show it off. I use a splint. I still can't afford a prosthetic because when I was working at a school, I had insurance. It was in the process and they let me go. Okay, what does it say? AF lock. Okay, I thought I was recording. I was not. Again, this is my hand. Only have 2 fingers, you guys. I have partial right hand amputation. After 2 weeks of being in the hospital in Nayarit, I flew into La Jolla, California to get a second opinion. Obviously, I was not able to save my 2 fingers and partial of my hand because there was no circulation. I was growing gangrene. Lucky enough, they were able to save some kind of my palm, and I have half of my palm on my other hand, and it's so sad because I am a right-handed, and not only that, I was employed with a charter school that I was employed for 6 years, and they wanted me to return for some reason, sometime 3 months. Mentally, I was not stable to return because as a woman, you're not used to having 3 fingers. How in the world do you think I can go back with 3 fingers? It was so sad because my prosthetic was in the process and they denied me because they canceled my insurance. And here I am, almost 2 years later with no prosthetic because I don't have insurance. I have Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal is so hard to work with. To get a prosthetic is over $50,000. As a woman, it's very hard. It's a hard situation. I'm going to talk about after the hospital. So after leaving Nayarit, I came to La Jolla. My husband had to stay with my 3 girls because obviously it was COVID and they had to be at school online, so he took care of that. My mother, that I'm very grateful for, and my siblings, my 2 sisters, they came all the way from Fresno, California to San Diego to support me. My mom immediately took some family leave to support me and to be with me in the hospital. She came to the hospital and she stayed with me the times of my surgery. Obviously, my sisters weren't able to because we don't fit the hospital, especially with COVID. my little sister
And
Jessica,
because they have kids, hello.
and they have kids, obviously they work and stuff, and I completely understand. My little sister, she like was very adamant at the hospital and was like, I need to speak to the manager. How is my mom not able to stay with my sister? My sister has no one to stay with her. Her husband's with her kids. Someone needs to stay with my sister. And so she made a scene, and yes, fortunately, I'm grateful that that my mother was allowed to stay with me in the hospital for more than a week, I think it was. Amputation was May, end of May. I had my amputation. My mother cried day and night in my hospital room, and I had to be strong. I couldn't just cry all night because my mom was the weaker one in the situation. I wasn't allowed to let her, And so as I continue with my story, so obviously I was in the hospital for over 2 weeks, had the amputation.
Are you giving me your fingers?